Well, we're here to find solutions for customers or companies for their friction wear and lubrication needs. So they're here really to set up sort of tailor-made solutions, really. So we'll look at the application, we'll look at the problem, and then we'll try and find out the best solution for that particular problem that they're facing at that time. We're fortunate to have PCS instruments and Phalanx tribology equipment. So that's a wide range of test equipment we can provide for them for these problems. We have IQT, CFR, diesel fuel test equipment, and through our partner Metaspec as well, we can supply either standard test specimens or even unique bespoke specimens for our customers as well. So we have a wide range of potential solutions to their needs or problems that they have at the time. So I spent 7 years at Imperial College in London, studying both maths initially as an undergraduate. Then I did a postgraduate master's in mechanical engineering, and then followed that on with a PhD in fretting wear in the tribology section at Imperial College. After finishing that, I went and taught automotive computer-aided design to engineers at both Ford and Jaguar Motor Company in the UK. Then I became a design engineer myself, both in the UK, Germany and Spain. And then in 2003, I joined PCS Instruments, who were one of the world leaders in tribology test equipment, based in West London in the UK. Moved through a variety of roles there, from production through sales, marketing, finally finishing as general manager. And as part of that, that gave me a very good overall view of sort of the global market of tribology as well as the local one. I had over 40 distributors that I was working with to sell and promote the products globally. Got me to travel to lots of lovely places in the Far East and America, India, and we really helped managed to grow the sales significantly over the time that I was there. I guess one of the highlights really, or the main parts that I really enjoyed about it, was the teaching, the educating, or the presentations that I give either at universities or at companies, and that really that's something that I've continued in my new role as well. Then after 16 years, had a young family, decided that it was time to settle down a little bit more, a little bit less Far East travel. So I set up TriboTonic 2 years ago, and fortunately PCS Instruments is one of my companies that I distribute for across Europe, along with the other companies, Phalanx, IQT, CFR, and also Metaspec. But I think mainly the bits of sort of trying to keep educating, keep promoting tribology across Europe. There's an often used phrase inside of tribology that tribology is everywhere. It's multidisciplinary in that it covers all the sciences, engineering, geology. But I think, more basic than that, we wake up in the morning, we get out of bed. Luckily, we're not feeling sore because we have nice smooth sheets. We don't slip over when we get out of bed because we have some friction between our feet and the floor. We then go off and have a shower and rub shampoo and conditioners through our hair. And fortunately, that's enough to clean it, but it doesn't stay in there or stain. It's a nice smooth motion. We then go and brush our teeth, and we want enough friction to clean our teeth, but not too much that they wear down. We'll go downstairs and we'll pick a yogurt out from the fridge, a low-fat yogurt, and we want it to taste exactly the same as a full fat. So they've replaced the fat with replacement foods or fats, and we want it to taste exactly the same. So the way that it breaks down in our mouth is initially rheology, and then it moves into tribology with the smaller particles. So mouthfeel is really important for that. We then walk to our door, open our door, and go out and hopefully it's a nice smooth running door because it's been well lubricated. And that's just before we've even got into our car, got onto our bike, got onto a train to go to work, where hopefully we've got good friction between the wheels and the ground. We've got nice lubrication of the gears. So tribology really is everywhere. Well, as they say, tribology is everywhere, and we're very fortunate in the UK to have a number of professional institutions like the Institute of Physics, Institute of Mechanical Engineers, the Royal Chemical Society, the Institute of Materials, that all have their own separate tribology sections who are working on their own particular areas of tribology. The advantage with the IET is because it's sort of engineering and technology, is that I think it's a much broader area, so we can look at wider applications and get people from different backgrounds coming and working with it. I was chair of the IET Tribology Network for 3 years. We've set up our own 1 day or 2 day initially, but 1 day now seminar in Birmingham every year. Unfortunately, last year due to COVID, we had to cancel it, but this year we managed to do it online. And it brings a lot of people together. But again, one of the great things that we've done in the IET is we've done educational tours. So I've been to Newcastle University, I've been to Dublin, Leicester, presenting to networks and that to show what tribology is, try and educate people about what it is, why and how it affects them, why it's so important to them on every day. And also we've done a lot of work with apprentices as well to try and again to get that message that this is a real subject, this is something that you can get involved in, and this is how. So I think that the general diversity of tribology is becoming much better. There's now a biotribology conference every 2 years, so that's your basically the biology and the tribology of that, so knee joints, hip joints, dental work, as well as face creams, hand creams, personal care products, shampoos. So that's a totally separate conference now that's been built up from just sort of a side of tribology that we had before. I think also there's quite an important part of environmental side of things as well, of course. I would say that it's not just automotive lubricants anymore, but of course that's important because of the electric vehicles that are coming through as well. But also things like the PCS MTMs being used to look at the effect of greases on railways and lubricants on stern tubes in shipping. So there's a much wider area now, I think, and I also think that instead of previously we would have just had standards, so you would follow a standard, you would get a result, and your lubricant or material would pass or fail. I think now we're getting a lot better than just standards. We're looking at real applications, and this is the problem. Can we get something that can solve this a bit better without just using a standard piece of equipment? So it's a modulus of lots of equipment and lots of ideas coming together. That's a very good question. It's there's a lot of pressure again on the lubricant industry in particular. I think the automotive side of things, we've got fill for life cars and that, so you don't ever have to drain your oil and change it to fresh oil. But at the same time as you're developing this, you're also developing the electric vehicles where you don't need any oils, or you do in the little bits of gearboxes, but nowhere near as much as well. So there's a real challenge, I think, on the R&D budgets of companies. If you look at some of the renewables, for example, wind turbines, then they've got some rather large moving gears and bearings that go into those. Tribology obviously plays a very big part in that. Where that is important. If you're offshore, or if you're in a desert or the top of a mountain, you need different lubricants to work under different temperatures and different conditions that you're going to find in those particular environments. there's been problems of a phenomenon called white etching cracks that again, one of the PCS pieces of equipment the micro pitting rig has been used to help solve over the last sort of 5 or so years. And also, even go back to, the Falex 4-ball instruments that need to look at the EP wear effect of lubricants and greases as well, all under much, much higher pressures and conditions, contact conditions than were seen 10, 20 years ago as well. So there's, the industry is moving with the times. They're looking at environmental lubricants that are much better, can be recycled or reused or only need to be used once. So we use less of the fluids that we put into these particular applications. What attracted me to being a board member was really to help support and contribute to the lubricant industry. Lubrication is 1/3 of tribology, along with friction and wear. And tribology, while it's everywhere, you can have little niche meetings for it. Splitting them into the 3 sections hasn't been done before. And I was really excited by the idea of being able to help support just a lubricant industry, lubricant focused expo as well. What am I looking forward to at the show? Well, all sorts of things, but just looking forward to meeting people again would be great. But I think some of the talks look very interesting. I think some of the subject matters really going to have some really good conversation around it, and of course the exhibitors as well. To be able to walk around and see what's happened. Obviously in our current times of not being able to go to shows as well, that they'll be able to show their developments that they've made over the last few years as well. And as I say, having it specifically on lubricants, it's a big enough subject to have a lot of interest in it as well. But it's nice and unique from that point of view of just having the lubricant side of things as well. Well, I think the exhibitors are certainly going to find that there's a good opportunity to support the lubricant industry. Let's say after 2 years of being away, really, to be able to show their support, show their innovation, show their new products, gives them a real showcase opportunity. I think people are hungry to go out there and see what they've been doing over the last few years, and I'm sure they're willing and very happy to also showcase what they've been doing as well over the last 2 years. From the attendees' point of view, I mean, a free, expo in the center of Europe, it's absolutely ideal place to go. Again, to meet up with people, the simple place to get to. I think there'll be some great connections made with people as well. And I think again, because it's based just around the lubricant side of things, it's wide enough that I think people who go along will not only find their own niche area that they work in at, but also be able to meet and join and see what other areas are doing as well in the lubricant industry.